Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we shall discuss about a topic, the MoSCow technique. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in prioritization of backlog items. So today's topic is very interesting and important for you. So let's start, friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well, so that my new videos can reach to you. Also, you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, MoSCow prioritization, also known as the MoSCow method or MoSCow analysis, is a popular prioritization technique for managing the requirements. The acronym MoSCow represents four categories of initiatives: must have, should have, could have, and wouldn't have, or will not have right now. Some companies also use the W in MoSCow to mean wish. How does MoSCow prioritization work actually? Before running a MoSCow analysis, a few things needs to happen. First, key stakeholders and the product team need to get aligned on objectives and prioritization factors. Then all participants must agree on which initiatives to prioritize. At this point, your team should also discuss how they will settle any disagreements in prioritization. If you can establish how to resolve disputes before they come up, you can help prevent those disagreements from holding up progress. Finally, you will also want to reach a consensus on what percentage of resources you would like to allocate to each category. With the groundwork complete, you may begin determining which category is most appropriate for each initiative. But first, let's further break down each category in the MoSCow method. Must have initiatives. And as the name suggests, this category consists of initiatives that are musts for your team. They represent non-negotiable needs for the project, product, or releases in question. For example, if you are releasing a healthcare application, a must-have initiative may be security functionalities that help maintain compliance. The must-have category requires the team to complete a mandatory task if you are unsure about whether something belongs in this category. If the product wouldn't work without an initiative, or the release becomes useless without it, the initiative is most likely a must-have. Should have initiative. Should have initiatives are just a step below must have. They are essential to the product, project, or release, but they are not vital. If left out, the product or project still functions. However, the initiatives may add significant value. Should have initiatives are different from the must have initiatives in that they can get scheduled for a future release without impacting the current one. For example, performance improvements, minor bug fixes, or new functionality may be should have initiatives. Without them, the product still works. Could have initiatives. Another way of describing could have initiatives is nice to have. Could have initiatives are not necessary to the core function of the product. However, compared with should have initiatives, they have a much smaller impact on the outcome if left out. So, initiatives placed in the could have category are often the first to be deprioritized if a project in the should have or must have category ends up larger than expected. Will not have. One benefit of the MoSCow method is that it places several initiatives in the will not have category. The category can manage expectations about what the team will not include in a specific release or another time frame you are prioritizing. Placing initiatives in the will not have category is one way to help prevent scope creep. If initiatives are in this category, the team knows they are not a priority for this specific time frame. Some initiatives in the will not have group will be prioritized in the future, while others are not likely to happen. Some teams decide to differentiate between those by creating a subcategory within this group. How can development team use MoSCow? Although the Clegg developed the approach to help prioritize tasks around his team's limited time, the MoSCow method also works when a development team faces limitations other than time. For example, prioritize based on budgetary constraints. What if a development team's limiting factor is not a deadline but a tight budget imposed by the company? Working with the product managers, the team can use MoSCow first to decide on the initiatives that represent must have and the should have. Then, using the development department's budget as the guide, the team can figure out which items they can complete. Prioritize based on the team's skill sets. A cross functional product team might also find itself constrained by the experience and expertise of its developers. If the product roadmap calls for functionality the team does not have the skills to build, this limiting factor will play into scoring those items in their MoSCow analysis. Prioritize based on competing need at the company. Cross-functional teams can also find themselves constrained by other company priorities. The team wants to make progress on a new product release, but the executive staff has created tight deadlines for further releases in the same time frame. In this case, the team can use MoSCow to determine which aspects of their desired release represent must-haves and temporarily backlog everything else. What are the drawbacks of MoSCow prioritization? Although many product and development teams have prioritized MoSCow, the approach has potential pitfalls. Here are as follows. An inconsistent scoring process can lead to tasks placed in the wrong categories. One common criticism against MoSCow is that it does not include an objective methodology for ranking initiatives against each other. Your team will need to bring this methodology to your analysis. The MoSCow approach works only to ensure that your team applies a consistent scoring system for all initiatives. Pro tip: one proven method is weighted scoring, where your team measures each initiatives on your backlog against a standard set of cost and benefit criteria. Not including all relevant stakeholders can lead to items placed in the wrong categories. To know which of your team's initiatives represent must-haves for your product and which are merely should-haves, you will need as much context as possible. For example, you might need someone from your sales team to let you know how important or unimportant prospective buyers view a proposed new feature. One pitfall of the MoSCow method is that you could make poor decisions about where to slot each initiative unless your team receives input from all relevant stakeholders. Team bias or against initiatives can undermine MoSCow's effectiveness. Because MoSCow does not include an objective scoring method, your team members can fall victim to their own opinions about certain initiatives. One risk of using MoSCow prioritization is that a team can mistakenly think MoSCow itself represents an objective way of measuring the items on their list. They discuss an initiative, agree that it is a should have, and move on to the next. But your team will also need an objective and consistent framework for ranking all initiatives. That is the only way to minimize your team's biases in favor of items or against them. When do you use the MoSCow method for prioritization? MoSCow prioritization is effective for teams that want to include representatives from the whole organization in their process. You can capture a broader perspective by involving past participants from various functional departments. Another reason you may want to use MoSCow prioritization is it allows your team to determine how much effort goes into each category. Therefore, you can ensure you are delivering a good variety of initiatives in each release. So, friend, thank you. Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you.